Hi, so I'm going to be going over the examples that can be found before guided practice example 4 and 5, and I'm going to be going over these examples, so hopefully it helps you out with your homework for tonight. Okay, so we're going to take a look at drawing models with these ratio problems. So the ratio of the number of CDs Brad has to the number of CDs Keith has is 2 to 3. So I have Brad and I have Keith, and my ratio is 2 to 3. The ratio of CDs that Keith has to the number of CDs Simone has is 6 to 12. So if I have Keith and I have Simone, that ratio is 6 to 12. Okay? I want to know if Brad has 24 CDs, how many do Keith and Simone have? So at the end, I want to know Keith plus Simone, and I know Brad equals 24. So let's take a look at this. The first thing, if you notice, I have two separate ratios. And I want to look at these two ratios, and I want to see if I see anything in common so I can kind of make them into a 3 ratio like the lesson before. Because if you remember, Xavier, Johan, and Zach had a ratio of 2 to 5 to 8. I want to do the same thing here. Instead, but the problem is these two ratios are separated, and I want to put them all in a 3. So I want to look and I want to see in the first ratio and in the second ratio, do we have anything in common? So when I look, I notice that K is the same. So K is supposed to be equal to K by the definition of equals. But 3 is not equal to 6. We want to make them the same number. So we want to think about, is there a number that 3 and 6 can go into equally? So is there a common multiple? If you remember least common multiple, we want to find the least common multiple of 3 and 6. Now when we look at these two numbers, we should see that 6 is the least common multiple of 3 and 6. So we want to make anything that's Keith equal to 6. So I'm going to say 2 to 3 is equal to blank over 6, and 6 over 12 is equal to 6 over blank. So let's take a look. How do I get from 3 to 6? I multiply by 2. Therefore, I have to multiply my numerator by 2, and I get 4 over 6. How do I get from 6 to 6? I multiply by 1. I multiply by 1. I get 12. So my ratio is 4 to 6 to 12. And that could be also found in the previous lesson. We just made common, common number for Keith so that we can set it up as a 3 ratio. So now let's draw a take diagram of 4 to 6 to 12. So Brad, Keith, and Simone, 4 to 6 to 12. Okay, and if you look back to the previous problem, it told you Brad is 24. So we know this line is equal to 24. Again, just like I did in the previous problems, 24 is equal to 4 parts. So I'm going to take 24 and divide it by 4, and each part is going to be worth 6. And that's how I get 24. Well, if each of these boxes are worth 6, then all of these boxes are worth 6. Okay, and this tells me Keith is going to be 6 times 6, because I have 6 in each box times 6 boxes, and Keith has 36 CDs. And Simone is going to be 6 times 12, because there's 12 boxes, and in each box I have 6. So this is going to be 72. So if I have to take Keith plus Simone, because if you remember, that was what I wanted to end with, I get 36 plus 72. This is going to equal to 108 total CDs between the two of them. Okay, so hopefully you understand the first thing I need to do is I need to make a ratio that's 3. And the only way I can do that is if all the numbers are the same. 3 was not equal to 6, so I had to make them equal to one another so that 4 could be compared to 12. Okay, so when you look at Stacy's middle school students, either ride the bus walk to school or ride bikes, since the ratio of the bikes to the number who walk is 3 to 4, and the ratio of the number who walk to take the bus is 12 to 7, in both of those ratios, walk is the same. So you have to make both walks equal to the same number. So there's a little clue on how to do number 4. So let's look at the next example, which will help you with guided practice number 5. So let's take a look. Sam and had some U.S. and foreign stamps. The ratio of the number of U.S. stamps to the number of foreign stamps is 3 to 4. So U.S. to foreign is 3 to 4. He bought 21 more stamps, 20 more U.S. stamps. So he bought 21 U.S. stamps, and his ratio changed to 9 over 8. So my new ratio is U.S. to foreign is 9 over 8. So I want to think about this. What did not change? Because I know when I changed from this ratio to this ratio, I added something. Okay? But I only added U.S. stamps. I did not add foreign stamps. So I know that 4 should be equal to 8 because it never changes. It stays exactly the same. So I know that if I have 3 over 4, I need that to be equal to 8. When I do that, I have to multiply this by 2, and I have to multiply this by 2, and I get 6 over 8. So this would be an equivalent ratio if nothing changes. So nothing changed at all, and I had the ratio of 6 over 8. But something did change. We added 21 stamps, and that's why my ratio changed. So I'm going to draw these ratios, which is the same. They're the exact same. So U.S. to foreign. This is when nothing changes. 3 to 4 is the same as 6 to 8. Okay, so this is when nothing changed, but something did change. We added 21 stamps, and instead of 6, I now have 9. So I have to add 3 more boxes to represent my 21 stamps. So I know because I added 21 stamps, and I added these 3 boxes in my ratio, these boxes are worth 21 stamps. Since I have 3, I divide 21 into 3 parts. Each of these parts are worth 7. If each of those boxes are worth 7, then all of these boxes are worth 7. So the question asks, how many foreign stamps did Sam have? Well, if I had 8 and I multiply that by 7, I know I have 56 foreign stamps. And then how many U.S. stamps did Sam have in the end? Since I have 9 times 7, this is going to be 63 total stamps. Okay, so that's how to do the example before guided practice problem number 5. Now if you look at guided practice problem number 5, it says the green and red plates in a cabinet. The ratio of green to red is 2 to 1. She adds 18 more red plates in the cabinet and the ratio becomes 4 to 5. So if you work through these problems, it shows you exactly the same thing that I just showed you. Draw your original ratio, make it equivalent to something that did not change, and then dotted line the problems that did change. I hope these help you out on your homework problems, on real-world problems involving ratios and tape diagrams. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in class. Other than that, have a great night.